Today, we're going to open up the history books to a story that feels like a real adventure. It's about incredible bravery, secret missions, and a group of people who guarded a hidden treasure right in the heart of the mountains. Okay, just think about this for a second. Imagine there's a book, but owning it, even just reading it, could get you into huge trouble. What would you do? Well, for a group of people called the Waldenses, this wasn't just a what-if question. It was their life. The book was the Bible, and they believed it was a treasure worth protecting no matter what it cost. So, first up, let's get into who these brave keepers of the secret actually were. What did they believe, and why was it so different? For hundreds and hundreds of years, way back in a time of castles and kings, there were the Waldenses. You could think of them as witnesses for God. And for them, the Bible was everything. It was the ultimate guide, their only rule for how to live. They held onto its teachings when pretty much everyone else was going in a totally different direction. And wow, this slide really shows you just how different they were. On one side, you had the Waldenses. Their faith was simple, it was humble, and it was based right on what the Bible said. But the main church power at the time, that was all about huge, fancy ceremonies, human traditions, and the idea that the Pope was the supreme authority. The very idea that a regular person could just read the Bible for themselves was radical. So the Waldenses separated themselves to keep their ancient faith pure. Now, if you're going to protect a treasure like that, you need a seriously good hiding place, right? A real-life fortress. And they found the perfect one, the mighty, towering peaks of the Alps. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? For 1,000 years, that is an unbelievably long time. These mountains were their sanctuary. They were like a natural castle that protected the Waldenses and their beliefs from the rest of the world. Now, their life wasn't easy. Not at all. They worked incredibly hard, farming every little bit of land they could find. But you know what? They were happy. They loved having the freedom to worship God in their own way. They really grew to love their mountain home, and they felt safe, protected by God among those amazing peaks. So what's school like when you grow up in a remote mountain fortress? Well, as you can imagine, it was a very different kind of school, one that was all about survival and faith. And get this, they didn't have a ton of printed books. Copies of the Bible were super rare and so precious. So what did the kids do? They memorized it. Seriously, many of them could recite huge parts of the Old and New Testaments completely by heart. The Bible wasn't just a textbook, it was the textbook for their whole life. And it wasn't just about memorizing. They learned these other crucial lessons too. Right from when they were little, they were taught to be tough, to be responsible, and to be incredibly careful with what they said. Why? Because one wrong word to a stranger, to an enemy, could put their entire family, their whole village in terrible danger. They had to be smart, and they had to be brave. But here's the really cool part. The Waldenses didn't believe in just hiding their treasure away forever. They felt it was way too important not to share. And to do that safely, well, they had to become missionaries in disguise. It was basically like a spy operation. A young person would train for years. Then they'd dress up like a merchant, maybe selling silks or jewelry, but hidden away in their clothes, that's where the real treasures were. Tiny, handwritten parts of the Bible, all ready to be shared with anyone who seemed to have an open heart. And that was the brilliant part of their plan. Think about it. Nobody would welcome a missionary from a group that was being hunted. But a merchant selling rare and interesting things? Come on in! This disguise let them travel all over the place, planting little seeds of truth in big cities and even in castles all across Europe. But sharing this truth came with a huge, huge risk. Their bravery put them right in the path of the most powerful forces in their world, and soon they were being hunted for their faith. When it all came down to it, their biggest crime was so simple. They refused to give up the Bible. That was it. They believed it was God's word, and they would not let anyone take it away from them. But for the papal power, this was an offense they just could not stand. A decision was made to wipe them out completely. Listen to this. This is a direct quote from a papal order from that time, and it's pretty shocking. It shows you just how serious this was. They weren't just people who disagreed. They were seen as something that had to be destroyed, like venomous snakes. That's the kind of danger they were facing every single day. And these weren't just threats. It really happened. Entire armies were sent to destroy them. Their homes were burned down. Their farms were ruined. They were hunted like animals through the very mountains that had been their home and their refuge. And yet, through all of that, They held on to their faith with this incredible patience and strength. The story of the Waldenses is just such a powerful reminder of what courage and conviction look like. They believed an idea, the truth they found in a book, was worth facing any danger for. And it kind of leaves us with a big question to think about, doesn't it? In our world today, what ideas, what truths are so important that they're worth protecting no matter what?